We ask questions all day long, right? Hundreds of them. And it feels so automatic. But what if I told you that every single question is actually a tiny, complex puzzle? A puzzle with a bunch of hidden rules. Well, in this explainer, we're going to crack that code. We're going to figure out what's really going on when someone asks what seems like a simple question. So, what's the big deal? Well, here's the core challenge. One single question can have a ton of different meanings. Seriously, it's not just about the words you use. It's all about the context. The situation you're in, the tone of your voice, your history with the person you're talking to. That's the stuff that gives a question its real meaning. Okay, let's take a super simple example. Imagine someone asks you, "Didn't you go to the party?" Now, on the surface, that's just a yes or no question, right? But hold on a second. Think about it. What could that person really be trying to say?
Well, for one, it could just be simple curiosity, right? Maybe your friend is just surprised. They totally expected to see you there, but you were a no-show, and now they're just checking in. Kind of like, hey, didn't you go? I thought for sure you'd be there. It's totally friendly, totally neutral.
But then again, it could mean something completely different. Just imagine the tone of voice changes just a little bit. Suddenly, it feels more like an accusation, doesn't it? Didn't you go to the party? Now it implies you should have been there, and they're kind of demanding an explanation. See? There's a bias baked right into the question itself.
So this is the big mystery, isn't it? If one little question can be so ambiguous, how on earth do we almost always get it right? How does our brain just instantly pick the correct meaning? Well, the answer lies in this fascinating set of unspoken rules. Rules that we all know, but nobody ever actually taught us.
All right, so let's dive into the first, and maybe the most powerful, of these unspoken rules. Context. Think about it. Our conversations don't just happen in a vacuum. Nope. They're shaped by the shared world around us and all the little assumptions we're constantly making about each other.
Linguists have this great way of thinking about it. They call conversation a kind of language game. And in this game, the context is the game board. We're all players, and we all instinctively know the rules. This shared common ground, this idea of what we both know and we both know that we know it, that's the secret sauce. It's what lets us figure out what the other person's move really means. And believe it or not, this isn't just a cool metaphor. It's a real, formal field of study called the Pragmatics of questions. And its whole job is to look past the literal words on the page and understand how all that unspoken stuff, the context, the speaker's intention, gives questions their real power.
What's absolutely fascinating is how just one tiny word can unlock this entire hidden layer. Just look at the difference here. Did you go? That's pretty neutral, right? It's just a search for a fact. But add that one little word, didn't you go? And boom, you've introduced what linguists call a semantic bias. You're not just asking for info anymore, you're signaling that you had an expectation, and while something didn't go according to plan.
Okay, let's peel back the next layer. This is where it gets even more interesting, because beyond that shared context, you've got the speaker's personal motive. We don't just ask questions to collect random facts. No way. We ask them because we're trying to achieve something. And here's the key idea. A question is almost never just a question. It's a strategic tool. It's a move designed to solve what researchers call a decision problem. Basically, the person asking is stuck. They're facing some kind of choice, and they need one specific piece of information from you to help them get unstuck. Let me break it down. Think of it like this. Step 1, you're facing a decision. Let's say, should I call my friend? Step 2, you realize you're missing a key bit of info. Did they actually go to that party last night? Step 3, you ask the perfect, targeted question to find out. And step 4, boom, their answer helps you decide what to do next. It's a really simple but super powerful loop. So this all points to a core principle of how we talk to each other. We just assume people are being cooperative. There's a fancy term for it, relevance implicature, but all it really means is that we trust the other person isn't just wasting our time. We automatically try to figure out their hidden goal by assuming they've asked the best, most direct question they could to solve whatever problem they're facing. Okay, so we've got the shared context, the game board, and the speaker's motive, their strategic move. But how do scientists and linguists actually model all of this? That brings us to our third and most detailed layer, the real science of how meaning gets built. Well, there's this really modern framework called inquisitive semantics, and honestly, it's been a total game changer. The core idea is that pretty much any sentence we say does two things at once. First, it provides some information, but second, it also raises issues that need to be discussed. It's like every sentence puts a new question on the table, just waiting for a response. And you can see here just how big of a shift in thinking this really is. The old way was super simple, meaning just equals information. Sentences are just there to deliver facts. But this new way with inquisitive semantics sees conversation as this living, dynamic process. Every single thing we say both gives information and raises new issues to be resolved. It's all about keeping the conversation moving forward.
So what does that really mean? It means conversation isn't just a simple exchange of data, like two computers talking. No, it's this incredibly collaborative process where we work together to bring up topics, explore them, and hopefully resolve them. Every single sentence is another move in that beautiful, complex dance.
All right, let's zoom back out and put all these pieces together. We've just walked through 3 different but connected layers that help us crack the code of what a question is really asking.
So, to recap, first, you got the game board. That's our shared context, all those unspoken rules we follow. Then you have the player's move. That's the speaker's actual goal, their strategy for solving a problem. And finally, you have the science of it all, the deep model that shows us how meaning is this powerful mix of both information and issues.
But here's the most mind-blowing part of this whole thing. Your brain does all of this, analyzing context, figuring out motives, resolving issues, instantly and completely unconsciously. When someone asks you, "Didn't you go to the party?" You're not sitting there running a formal analysis of game theory. You just get it. You decode the real meaning in a split second. It's incredible. So I want to leave you with one final thought. The next time you ask a question, any question at all, just pause for a second and think about it. Remember, you're not just looking for a piece of data. You're making a strategic move. You're trying to solve a problem. So ask yourself, what issue are you really trying to resolve?